Hey friends, welcome or welcome back. My name is Shannon, and today we are going to do a book haul. So the day that I am filming this is actually my birthday. I know, why am I filming on my birthday? Well, it's the only time that I have right now. And so to treat myself for my birthday, I put in a rather large order at Blackwells, which is a UK book retailer. And I generally do this once or twice a year, generally for my birthday or Christmas. There are a lot of books here, and I do want to express that under no circumstances do you need to think you have to purchase this many books at one time. That is absolutely not the case. I just do this because Blackwells tends to have certain editions that I want. Can I get all these books in the US? Absolutely. However, not always the editions that I want. I will either want the UK cover, or maybe the book isn't published in the United States yet, which does tend to happen. So for this order, for my birthday, I had been saving up these books in my wish list for all year long. So I've been wanting these for a while. So we're first going to start with a book that has not been published in the United States yet, and that is Slags by Emma Jane Unsworth. And I cannot remember for the life of me which UK booktuber that I was watching when I saw this book, but I do remember immediately noting it down, putting it into my Blackwell's wish list for my next order. And I just love the cover. And for those of you who are not up to date on British slang, slag is essentially the American equivalent of slut. It even has it on the back. A promiscuous woman of cheap or questionable character. It is the 1990s. Sarah is 15, obsessed with boy bands, sex, and getting drunk on Malibu. Most of all, she's hung up on her teacher, Mr. McKeveney. Fast forward 26 years, Sarah is 41, the last of the party girls, but the mad nights out are losing their shine, and her teenage dreams are now distant, queasy memories. There's only one thing for it, an adventure. So Sarah sets off with her sister Juliet on a whiskey-fueled campervan trip across Scotland. The sisters have never been alike, but they know all the dark corners of each other's history, and it's time to dig up some demons, kicking and screaming. I don't know, that just sounds like so much fun because I was a teenager in the 90s and now I'm in my mid 40s. So today, my birthday, I am now officially 46 years old. So my mind is often going back to the 90s and remembering things, and so I'm really intrigued by this book. So these next three books are hardcovers that I specifically wanted the UK cover. I can get all these books in the United States, but I just loved the UK covers so much. I put them on my Blackwell's list, and I've got them here. So the first one is The Game of Hearts, The Lives and Loves of Regency Women by Felicity Day. And exactly what the title is. It's a historical book about Regency women. From glossy costume dramas to the gripping reads, the glamorous world of Regency London's bon ton is synonymous with romance, a place where dashing heroes and independently minded heroines flirt, fight, and sidestep scandal, all while in pursuit of the perfect match. But who were the real women who went looking for love in the age of elegance, and what were their lives really like? Using diaries, letters, and stories of scandal from the newspapers, author Felicity Day pieces together a rich and intimate view of this most beloved period of British history, showcasing the voices and opinions, hopes and desires of the real women who lived and loved in the Regency era. So obviously, I love me some Jane Austen, love me some Regency books, and I just loved this cover so much that I wanted to wait for it to get from Blackwell's. Next is Jane and Dorothy, The True Tale of Sense and Sensibility by Marian Veevers. Again, I could have gotten this in the United States, but I wanted this lovely blue cover. And so this is odd. I never would have thought to put these two together, but this is doing kind of like I wonder if it's like a comparison between Jane Austen and Dorothy Wordsworth. Jane Austen and Dorothy Wordsworth never met, but they had much in common. Born in the 1770s in Georgian England to a world torn between heady revolutionary ideas and fierce conservatism, they were both influenced by the romantic ideals of Dorothy's brother, William Wordsworth, and his friends. They were supremely gifted writers, yet suffered the frustrations of talented women of their age who had no independent income. Neither ever married. So I don't know a whole lot about Dorothy Wordsworth. I know that she, lived with her brother. She helped him with his work, maybe even influenced him. And I also don't know a whole lot about Wordsworth's work. Say that 3 times fast. So I'm actually really intrigued about this. So this last hardcover is Black England, A Forgotten Georgian History by Gretchen Garzina. And this is the famous portrait of Dido Bell from the 1700s. So the idea that Britain became a mixed-race country after 1945 is a common mistake. Georgian England had a large and distinctive Black community. Whether prosperous citizens or newly freed slaves, they all ran the risk of kidnap and sale to plantations. Black England tells their dramatic, often moving stories. Apparently, this author here had a run-in with a bookseller or something who told her that there were no Black people in England until 1945, which really doesn't make any sense. It's very, very odd. Anyway, Dido Bell may have or may not have been the inspiration for Jane Austen's Sanditon. There's only like 11 chapters, but it was very clear that the character of Miss Lamb was a mixed race heiress, like Dido Bell. So it's most likely that this woman was the inspiration for Sanditon. And so if there were no Black people in England until 1945, where did she come from? So very, very interesting, and I am really excited to learn about this. Okay, so all the rest of the books that I'm going to talk about are Virago modern classics, and I generally, yes, I can find them here in the US, but usually it's piecemeal and I have to get them sometimes from like thrift books or, just from different places. Whereas I can just go to Blackwells and just do one big order. And I don't have to go to like different locations in order to get these editions. One Fine Day by Mollie Panter-Downes. And this is set in a hot summer's day in 1946. The village of Welding is no longer troubled by distant sirens, but its serene beauty is scarred by rusting coils of barbed wire. Together again after years of separation, Laura and Stephen Marshall find that their marriage too has been irrevocably altered by the war. Their rambling garden refuses to be tamed. The house seems perceptibly to crumble. Hour by hour, as the glorious weather holds, the rhythms of ordinary life begin to falter, and as everything falls, something will have changed forever. I hear that this is just a very lovely post-World War II story, and I wanted my own copy. The Street by Ann Petry, and this was, I believe, published in the 1940s. It's set in 1940s New York. In a crumbling tenement in Harlem, Lutie Johnson is determined to build a new life for herself and her 8-year-old son, Bub. Having left her unreliable husband, Lutie believes that with hard work and resolve, she can begin again. But in her struggle to earn a respectable living amid the violence, poverty, and racial dissonance of her surroundings, Lutie is soon trapped. She is a woman alone, too good-looking to be decent, with predators at every turn. I don't know much about Ann Petry. I've never read anything by her, so I am intrigued by this. And then, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Corregidora by Gayl Jones. And yes, I could have gotten this in the US, but I just wanted this cover. I just love this cover. So that's why I ordered it. Blues singer Ursa is consumed by her hatred of Corregidora, the slave master who fathered both her mother and grandmother. Only the stories passed down through generations of Corregidora women bear witness to this legacy of abuse. But when Ursa is left sterile after a fight with her husband, she must find a new way to confront history. Haunted by the ghosts of the plantation, Pained by the fractured relationships of her present, she finally strikes her own terms with womanhood. And we've got some blurbs on the back here by Toni Morrison, James Baldwin, and John Updike. So it's probably a really powerful book. Okay, and so I had been looking for a set of Maya Angelou's autobiographies, and just by happenstance, I came across a collection done by Virago, and I can't see that it was ever published in the United States, so I did manage to get the set, and the covers are stunning. And I just knew that there was no way that I wasn't going to order these, and I could not find them in the United States, so which is why I ordered it from the UK. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, just stunning. Gather Together in My Name, Singin' and Swingin' and Gettin' Merry Like Christmas, The Heart of a Woman, All God's Children Need Traveling Shoes, A Song Flung Up to Heaven, and then Mom and Me and Mom. I mean, these covers are just stunning. And last, again, more Virago modern classics that I just wanted to get in one order instead of trying to chase around in different locations. And these are Barbara Pym books. There's actually one missing. It's still on its way here. I haven't received it yet, and that's Civil to Strangers. So that should be coming soon. But I got Some Tame Gazelle, Jane and Prudence, Less Than Angels, A Glass of Blessings, No Fond Return of Love, Captain Hodnet, and An Academic Question. Civil to Strangers is still on its way, and so you're thinking, well, one of her most famous books, Excellent Women. Well, I actually already have a copy of that. I have this hardcover from Virago, so there's no need for me to get another copy of it. Anyway, so I got these because I've heard such great things about Barbara Pym, and that her writing is just witty and funny and satirical and light. And right now, I just need light reading. I can't really handle anything very, very stressful at the moment. So I got all these books because I do plan on tearing into them rather soon. I do feel like it'll be light enough for me to read something and still take my mind off of stresses that are going on right now. So that is it. A pretty extensive book haul. Again, this is not something that I do on the regular, nor should you think that you have to do this, but this is something I treat myself on my birthday to a book haul from Blackwells. So let me know if you have read any of these. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining, and have a great day. Bye.